Today's video is going to be a review of the brand Flesh. I purchased 5 products from this brand, and I'm going to tell you all about my experiences. Now listen, this is what's applied to my face right now. I'm about to walk you through it, but this is not a first impression. I actually can't stand when people conflate reviews and first impressions, so I'm going to give you my full thoughts on all of these products, which includes 2 brand new releases that I have owned for over a week at this point. And I will tell you what I think is good from this brand and what I would personally say is a pass. I'm going to start this video by talking about the brand new eyeshadow palette from Flesh. This is the Cool Toned eyeshadow palette, and it is called the Starshine eyeshadow. Now this palette has its pros and cons for sure. One of the biggest pros and the reason why this stood out to me so much that I immediately bought it on release is that, look at this, you finally are getting a true cool-toned palette amidst this sea of warm-toned palette trends that just won't go away. So if you're a cool-toned lover, here is a palette that's $38 for 0.7 ounces, and that is a lot of eyeshadow. It is only 9 shades, but 0.7 ounces, that's even bigger than a Naked palette, which is 0.6 ounces. So you certainly get a lot in here. They tried to include a brush, but you can probably see I don't really have a lot of interest in it. What am I going to do with this baby brush other than, I guess I could use it for highlighting. We'll use it today. I'm going to put up some swatches of this, and I will say that it's very pigmented. It is very Anastasia Beverly Hills-like in a lot of ways. It certainly has kickback, a lot of powderiness to it, but a lot of pigment, and a lot of people really enjoy that style of eyeshadow. You know, this is not like MAC eyeshadows where you have to really build them up. You get intense payoff. It has a really nice mirror in it. It's really pretty packaging, this glitter, although personally I don't like this because it does rub off. You can see it starting to rub off. Did I just say that really southern? It's starting to rub off here. South is starting to rub off on me. But my biggest gripe with this palette is that I had some trouble getting these shades to stay on my eyes, and not in the traditional, oh, it kind of fades through the day. I lost a giant chunk of purple off my eyes the first night that I wore this, and I was so irritated. This incredibly gorgeous purple right here, I applied it to my lids and I saw it starting to flake, so I was already worried. This is, 30 minutes after applying it, I'm going, where's that purple going from the top of my lid? That's not okay. So I reapplied it, went out, and in the middle of the night, I noticed that I had just lost a chunk of it. And it's not like I'd thrown this in my bag. Should I have? I don't know. Should I have to worry about things like that with eyeshadow? I protest. I don't think I should. So I was very disappointed with that. In all fairness, I figured out that this is really finicky and needs the right primer. And for me, it turns out to be the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. So I do already have that applied to my lids today. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know about the fact that my current favorite, my current holy grail eyeshadow primer, the Bare Minerals Nude Primer, just did not work with this. And then the other biggest con, and I think this will be big for some people, is that there's no transition shades. There's no matte white to set your brow. It's not a complete palette. I think this was a bit of a bigger deal a couple years ago when people wanted to buy one palette as if we were going to stop there somehow. I haven't yet challenged myself to exclusively use this palette, but I'm going to try today. Earlier this week, or possibly yesterday, depending on when this goes up, I did use this gorgeous shade right here as my lid color, and that ended up being one of my favorite looks that I've made with this palette. But for today's look, I'm going to revisit the purples, and we'll try to make it work. I'm going to go in with a bit of my loose Cover FX powder to start, just so we have some help with blending, because even though these blend okay, it's hard for me to blend this style of eyeshadow without doing this. And there's only 2 matte shades in this palette, so I guess I have no choice but to go into that purple and hope that this looks okay without a transition shade. In fairness, for a matte and a purple, it doesn't blend horribly. I think that's got to be the hardest combination in all of existence, because purple's difficult and matte's difficult, so it's not bad. Next, I'm going to be using the only other matte shade in the palette, which is a very deep gray, and I will darken up the crease. And by the way, I used the MAC 217, and now I'm using the MAC 219. So my last step that I just did was the purple that had betrayed me before. I'm gonna say that without without having brought in another palette, this ended up really intense. Of course it did, because so far I've literally only used purples. and that gray. But I can't say I'm disappointed in the pigmentation because this is not a wet brush. This is just applied regularly, and that's a lot of color. It's also a fair amount of fallout that I'm leaving so you can see it. Don't worry, we'll fix it in post. I'm gonna try out this little brush and kind of try to find a shade for highlighting because this is really starting to look like a one color look, because it kind of is. So there's 3 of these kind of silvers, which I think is excessive. I don't think there was a need to put 3 silvers in here, but this one does have a little bit of a purple color to it, so we'll try that one. I'm gonna go ahead and use the black with flecks of glitter in it as an eyeliner, and we'll use some Duraline with it. Okay, so I like it. I think it really does make a difference what primer you use with it. The purple, the gorgeous purple in here that is going to attract people to this is beautiful, but it's a little finicky. You can still see it's just a little patchy in some spots, but not terrible. And again, I didn't need to wet my brush, so it's not bad. It's not bad. It's gonna look top heavy for a little bit in this video, and then I'll go back in with another shade under my eye. All right, next up I'm gonna be using the foundation stick. This has definitely generated a buzz on the internet, and I've tried this a lot so far, and I still have never really liked it. I tried it in a Get Ready With Me where I tried it with a primer oil. It separated. I tried it with Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Looked horribly cakey. I tried it with a more hydrating primer. It still broke up on me. I'm trying it today over the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. That's going to be, in my opinion, the closest to the one that Flesh sells, which is an illuminating primer that also contains silicones. Oh my gosh, it's already breaking up on me. This is worse than middle school relationships. Look at all these flakes. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is hot. That was hideous. But a bonus recommendation for those of you with dry skin, Makeup Revolution's Fast Base Stick. You get 0.21 ounces for $9. It's incredible for dry skin. Next, I want to talk to you guys about the Flesh Hide the Evidence Double Concealer. Quick beef to get out of the way before I get into this review. I've tried to write a review for this on the Ulta website and it was not published. Maybe because it's not a positive review, sure, but it was actually really important information. So hopefully, if you're thinking about buying this, please hear what I'm about to say with this product. First off, this is $28 for 0.08 ounces, which is so incredibly tiny. To give you some perspective on that, the YSL Touche Éclat is 0.1 ounces, and that's a tiny amount of product. 0.08 ounces? Are you kidding, Flesh? I mean, Tarte Shape Tape has 0.3 ounces. My other gigantic beef with this is that the 2 lightest shades are called Ultra Pale and then Light Vanilla. I bought Light Vanilla because I'm an NC20. I am not ultra pale by any means. Also, when you first get it, you have to turn it so that the product comes up, and eventually it will, and it will come out everywhere. They don't seem to have a system in place to slow the release of it. So there's the correct side in Light Vanilla. I'm going to use the cover side. Now, my problem with the cover side is that I really thought this was an all-in-one under the eyes pen, but this color, here, let me swatch it. I'm going to go ahead and put up a swatch of this shade, Light Vanilla, the cover side, next to the Milk Concealer in Light. I feel like this is a really average light concealer, so there you go. You can see the difference. It's already oxidizing into this really orange color. I mean, I truly can't use it. When I got this, I thought they had sent me a medium shade in a pink undertone or something. No, it's truly Light Vanilla. It's going back to the store. And in addition to that, you would think this is for under eye concealing, right? Well, according to Flesh, it's for coverage. So, okay, fine. I will try to use it on the rest of my face, even though, God, it looks horrible. It's just so orange. So at this point, I'm going to have to say that I think Flesh's foundation and concealer are both no-goes. I absolutely don't recommend them. They need to take them back to the drawing board, and ultimately, I'm not even surprised. If I'm honest with myself, I've never loved a Revlon complexion product, and here I am saying the same thing about Flesh. What did I even expect? But I do really like this next product. This is the Touch Flesh Highlighting Balm, and the one that I have is the shade Pinky. This works really nicely on the skin if you do not have foundation on. You can just swipe it on and it will look beautiful and give you an incredibly intense glow, which I find to be the opposite of most of this type of product. Usually they give you a less intense glow. This is absolutely up there with the Celestial from Cover FX. Really, really pretty, but I do recommend using a brush if you have foundation on. By the way, so you don't think I'm crazy, I just went in with powder so I could hopefully brighten up that area that I just deepened from the horrendous concealer. Alright, I want to update you guys on where we are before I finish my face look, and I've still got a lipstick to use as well. So I did kind of get carried away with this eye look. I went under my eye with this shade, which is a very deep... Honestly, I'm stumped at how to describe this, so there's a swatch. It's almost a purple, gray, mauve. If you mixed all those colors together, kind of what you'd get. It is actually a really pretty color. So I started with that under my eye, and I thought, you know what, let's go all the way with this kind of editorial bruised eye look that we're doing and add in some of this red shade in the corner. And I kind of love it. I don't think this is an everyday look by any means, but it makes me appreciate this palette a lot more than I did. It absolutely needs the correct primer, and I'll tell you now, if it is starting to flake on you 15 to 20 minutes after you've applied it, you use the wrong primer. Start all over again or pack the palette with you because it's going to keep flaking. Alright, so we've got one last product. This is the Swipe Flesh lip color in the shade Puffy. Now it's cute. It comes in this little compact that does have a mirror in it. However, I dislike the fact that that little thumbprint on there, which is so cute, is going to be gone the second I dip my finger in it. Don't worry, I'm not going to dip my finger in it. We're going to use a lip brush. Look, listen, I know I'm acting like this is the only wig that I own, but in all fairness, it is the perfect wig for the look. Also, it's probably my only clean wig. Gross. Washing wigs is not a fun activity. I do want to wrap this video up with my final thoughts, just so there's a point in this video that people can skip to if they don't care about application. Let's do this best to worst. Best is absolutely going to be the highlighter balms. These are going to be 50% off in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, and I'm going to get more. This is stunning. These are so, so pretty, and especially if you don't wear foundation and you're looking for a highlight that will kind of compare to, you know, those more intense, glowy highlights. This is amazing. $18, gonna be $9. I love it. I'm gonna kind of say these next two are a bit tied. I do like this eyeshadow palette when used with the right primer, which makes me think, okay, the palette's a little bit on the finicky side because, you know, I hate having to tell people, yes, this $38 item is nice, but you're going to need to spend $20 to use it. I hate saying that, but nonetheless it applies, and we live in a world where people most likely have eyeshadow primer and most likely have another palette to use to complement with this, because if you don't, you're going to end up with this kind of look, which, while nice, is very intense. I really do think it's in line with Flesh. I will say that. This one, I think, suits the name Flesh better than the other palette. And again, if you're interested in these shades, you know, you're really getting your bang for your buck with this palette. It just means, do you want two silvers and one that's almost silver? Do you want a black and a gray? That's a lot of shades that people might not be interested in to buy two that I think are going to be really appealing, that being these two purples. But I do like it. I think the packaging is cute but going to fade away, but I overall like it. Same feelings with this lip product. I think it's a nice lip color. It wears really comfortably, and it does last probably for about, I'd say the standard 4 hours that I get out of any lip product. But I don't think everybody likes this type of a lip product. I think a lot of people just want a lipstick, so it's that same situation of, is the packaging good for you or the opposite? And in all fairness, for $24, if you're comfortable with applying a lipstick with your finger, you do get a little mirror in here, and I can't say that for lipsticks. They're just not the right packaging. So I like it. I do like it. I just recognize that not everybody is going to want or need a lip product that is this style. As for the foundation, I love the shade range, but I can't seem to make this work on my dry skin. Maybe it works better on oily skin. It's a little hard for me to say that with certainty. I think you do get a very small amount of product. That's going to be another drawback for some people. But again, I respect the shade range. I think they tried. I just don't think it's for dry skin at all. And then finally, I would absolutely say pass on the double concealer. It's just too little product for $28. The shade range doesn't make sense. doesn't make sense, at least in the lighter colors for me. At the very least with this product, absolutely swatch it in store before you buy it, and then consider if 0.08 ounces of product is worth $28. Alright guys, you know what I say at the end of videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like it, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, YouTube.